So one of my flatmates has just moved out. Just thought you guys would like to know. The rest of them are going to be moving out during the coming week, and then I will also be moving to my new accommodation. Hey all you Hillmaniacs, it's Hillmanator, and this is going to be the last video that I actually film in this exact accommodation. Purely because when I came over here, I basically only paid for the accommodation up until the 2nd of November, and then from there until about mid-February is summer. And so I have to move into summer accommodation, which is somewhere else in Orchard Park, apparently. Not here, because they're renovating here, and so I'm going to be somewhere else, and they haven't told me where yet, and I'm moving tomorrow, but it's all good. Apologies if you can hear stuff from the living room. A couple of people are over right now with some of my flatmates, because it's their last day in New Zealand, so everyone is saying goodbye to them. A lot of people only came over for one semester, especially a lot of the American students, and so a lot of them are just saying goodbye to each other now and whatnot. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the actual topic of today's video. So, earlier on in the week I talked about the 5 things that I least like about myself, and now, towards the end, we're coming to the 5 things I most like about myself. Which I have to say is a bit self-congratulatory. It feels a bit weird. I don't particularly like talking about my own positive attributes, because it just feels like I'm being like, ooh, look at me, aren't I fabulous? But you know, this is what I said I'd do. So let's get on with it, shall we? I actually thought ahead and wrote the notes on my phone for once. You're probably going to find that a lot of these are intermeshed with things that I don't like about myself, and they're almost like a different aspect of the same thing. Like this first one, for example. I said earlier on in the week that I don't like how I'm unable to think emotionally a lot of the time. My mind automatically presets to something else, and I don't like that I can't really think that emotionally. But what I do like is that I'm able to think exceptionally logically. Now, as I said, same thing, just looked at from a different point of view. So I enjoy the fact that it allows me to analyse literally everything and come up with a solution for pretty much any problem that I face. I can immediately pinpoint the issue and just get rid of it. That was a weird, why did I do that? But it was particularly useful in my coursework back at A-level and in my essays this year, where I noticed certain little things that I wasn't happy with, and so I changed them at the last minute, and they seemed to make my grades go better. It's also really great for just appearing artificially smarter than you actually are, because you just take a circumstance and extrapolate what you think might happen, and you're normally right, because people generally well, they don't act logically, but as long as you understand their emotional trigger, then you can logic out where they're going to go with it. People are surprisingly easy to predict. It's really great for logic puzzles and stuff. I said previously in one of my vlogs, I think, that I'm pretty darn good at Sudokus, and I'm also reasonable at chess. Now, whether those skills are ever going to come in handy in the regular world, who the heck knows, but they do come in handy for my degree, because strangely enough, philosophy, the study of thinking, who would have realised that you needed to be thinking in a rational and logical way when discussing logic? The second thing that I like about myself, yes, I did just have to refer back to my phone because apparently I can't remember what I actually like about myself a lot of the time. The second thing is that I am willing to try new things, and I do it quite a lot. I've tried quite a lot of different cuisines. I've tried quite a lot of different sports. When I first went to the gym, it was just because I wanted to try it. Literally, there's so many different things. Lacrosse last year, while it didn't turn out that it was right for me personally, I still just decided, I'm gonna try that. Why not? I did make some friends out of it, so you know, that was fun. But yeah, it's the fact that I'm just willing to try virtually anything. If people ask me to do something, I'll usually give it a go. It's how I first learned to edit. It's how I first learned to do projection and stuff, in which I used in church as part of like the PA system. Mixing on a soundboard, literally anything. Lighting, heck. I was basically the only person in both GCSE and my A-level classes of drama who knew how to mix the sound and do the lighting. And so there were occasions where basically I would do about 5 different performances in a row on either the lighting board or the music desk, or once both, which was interesting. And then I would have someone who had virtually no idea what was going on come on to do a piece, because I was the only one in the class who actually like bothered with the lighting and stuff. I just, you know, I tried it out and I got reasonably good at it. It's just, I like the fact that I'm willing to try stuff that I haven't done before. The third thing is probably the first one that I should have thought of, because it's very evident in my essay writing style, in my exam history, and just in my general life, in the fact that I procrastinate so much. In fact, this thing might actually be the cause of procrastination. I haven't thought about that, but it certainly helps once I have procrastinated. Basically, I don't really get anxious at all. Like, ever. I keep exceptionally cool under pressure. It's kind of ridiculous, really. One day I had a exam which I knew it was going to be a tough one, because like the teachers had predicted what questions were coming up, as they normally are able to do, and the questions were nasty ones, in fairness. But I was more or less the only person who wasn't freaking out. Like, literally, as soon as I left the exam hall, everyone just went on like a massive thing, like, oh no, and then I was just there like, I mean, I don't think it went as well as it could have, but what can I do about it now? And that's basically my attitude towards everything. I don't really get, like, any sort of anxiety about things. I'm calm under pressure, which allows me to keep on going in any scenario. It's pretty darn great. The fourth thing is something which I suppose could be debatable, really. Persistence. Now, this is going to sound kind of weird considering the amount of times that I've stopped doing stuff. I have failed on losing weight a lot. I have failed on going to the gym a lot. I failed on my Couch to 5K a lot. I fell off of my Duolingo quite a few times. I've stopped revising a lot of times. And all of those sound like clearly you're not persistent in the slightest if you just stop doing stuff. But each time there was a reason why I stopped doing it. And I think when I say persistence in this aspect, it's not about the fact that I will keep going no matter what. It's the fact that I will restart. Virtually everything. I keep restarting no matter how many times I've stopped or been delayed. I mean, just look at this YouTube channel. How many times have my videos been, like, uploaded late? Or heck, recently, there was that solid month. And I feel like a lot of people would have just given up, especially considering the fact that virtually no one is watching these videos. But I won't. I just don't. I keep on going. When I first moved to Wales, I started trying to learn Welsh, and the Welsh teacher would only speak in Welsh, which was useful. But I kept on trying, I kept on going, and eventually I got a B in my GCSE Welsh, which yeah, I'm pretty darn proud of it, especially seeing as I had far fewer years than most people did to learn the language. And now I can say stuff like Ga ik vind dit bach, skola vandaag, which translates to I find your heart truly beautiful, and really it's quite a deep sentiment. Welsh mates, back me up. Isn't Ga ik vind dit bach, skola vandaag just like the most beautiful sentence that you've ever heard? But yeah, it's less about the fact that I will keep on going in any situation, which I do quite a bit anyway. Like there's a fair few situations where I'll just plough on regardless, but it's more to do with the fact that even when I do stop and I get knocked back and stuff, I will always get myself back up and keep going. And the fifth thing that I like most about myself is something that I never really used to. It's more of a recent thing, especially this year. I've felt it a lot this year, and it's self-improvement. I have continuously tried to better myself this year. I've gone to more lectures, I've eaten more nutritionally, I've gone to the gym fairly regularly when I had a gym membership, I've tried to do exercise whenever I can, I've tried learning a language, I have tried to improve on the video quality. Hopefully, if you go back to the start of this year and then you compare it to a video from, well, this video, you know, the editing quality has set up significantly, even though I'm still using the exact same editing software, which is pretty darn pants if you ask me. But I've also started reading more, both in terms of actual books and audiobooks. I've been starting audiobooks, and I've got through a fair few. In fact, how many have I got through? I only started in August, and right at the end of August with that. And it's not an exceptional amount because I've also been watching an insane amount of YouTube. With that said, I've already got through Wally Roo, Quantum Mechanic, Utilitarianism, On Liberty, The Saviour's Champion, Shadow of the Conqueror, Hollow Earth, The Dark Web mini-series, and The Silmarillion. So yeah, that's eight books since the end of August, which is far more than the 0 that I was reading prior to that. I've also been reading up on things outside of my own subject, like dark matter, purely because they interest me, but the fact that I'm actually still continuing to look into physics and stuff, even though I don't have to anymore, is a good sign of self-improvement. I've been trying to teach myself piano and guitar, as you guys know, and Japanese. I can say very basic phrases in Japanese now. I can count to 10, and I can probably count to about 100, but I'm not 100% certain on that, which is a tad bit ironic. And yeah, basically, I'm just kind of proud of the fact that even though I've had a lot on this year, with all of my exams, my essays, going to organise study abroad, flying over here, having to make a whole new circle of friends, and then immediately starting second year without a break, I'm just glad that I've actually managed to, you know, keep on working on myself and improving over time. Well, I'm done being self-congratulatory, because that felt weird and I don't like doing it. Let me be pessimistic, please. I don't like being in the state where I'm telling people what I like about myself. It feels insanely egotistical. I don't like talking about my own personality and why that is better or worse, or, you know. So, as I said, I'm gonna leave it here, because now I'm rambling again, and hey, I do ramble way too much, don't I? I literally said this at the end of my last video. Okay, thanks for watching all. I shall catch you next time.